Hello, everyone, and welcome to a breastfeeding class presented by the Breastfeeding Clinic in the Helderberg Basin, Cape Town, South Africa. Just a quick disclaimer. Information provided in this program is to assist you in exploring all available options to empower you to make well-informed decisions, to help you feel in control and be responsible for and have confidence in your choices. Information should please not be substituted for the diagnosis and treatment of any medical condition, and please never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have received in this program. And this recording is also not intended to replace professional or medical or other kinds of advice. So, in this recording, we will be looking at the importance of breastfeeding. Oh, yes, breast milk is free, but terms and conditions apply, and we will be discussing those T's and C's in recordings to come. So, when a woman has a baby, her body produces the milk needed to feed the baby. So, breastfeeding is normal. It is what we and all mammals do. And the most compelling reason to promote breastfeeding is species specificity. So our bodies are amazing. Not only do we make people, but we also make the food to sustain people. That's huge. So the human milk is designed for the human baby. And deciding to breastfeed is not just a lifestyle choice, it is a healthcare decision. And affordable and attainable healthcare begins with breastfeeding. Now, could you name some of the risks involved in not breastfeeding for a baby? And we'll get to that just now. We talk about the importance of breastfeeding, not the benefits or the advantages, because breastfeeding is not best or optimal. It's merely normal, like breathing fresh air. It's expected. So breastfeeding, breastfed babies, they are not healthier. It's the babies who are not breastfed that are at a greater risk, just like breathing contaminated air or smoking puts one at risk, if that makes sense. So, breastfeeding supplies all the necessary nutrients a baby needs in proper proportions. It digests very easily without causing constipation. So, why do you think breast milk is so thin? Because it's already dissolved. It's mostly ready to just be absorbed by the baby system. So breast milk is always ready at the right temperature. There's no preparation needed. For a baby, the muscle action needed to breastfeed promotes proper jaw, teeth, and speech development. It's also comforting to a very fussy and overtired or ill or hurt baby. And partly due to the close physical contact, I think. But yeah, a mother's very soft body, but also due to elements in the milk itself. The relationship of breastfeeding and the mother meeting the baby's needs builds a sense of trust and safety from which the child can then explore other relationships in the world. Now, the skin to skin contact that comes with breastfeeding has so many benefits that we need to discuss that one in its own recording. Okay, so asking that question again. What do you think are some of the risks involved in not breastfeeding for the baby? Now, several studies reported moderately lower IQ scores in children who are not breastfed. Research also shows that babies who are not breastfed are between 40 and 50% more likely to have asthma and wheezing. Children who are not breastfed are more likely to become obese or develop type 2 diabetes in adolescence or adulthood. And some studies have also suggested an increase in the risk of cardiovascular diseases, including high blood pressure. Now, babies who are not breastfed face higher risk of infectious illnesses in the first year. Now, approximately half of all babies will have at least one episode of middle ear infection in the first year, but the risk among babies who are not breastfed is doubled. Now, breastfed or babies who are not breastfed, they also face an increased risk of hospitalization for things like lower respiratory tract infections. And this is just in the first year alone. And then babies who are not breastfed or babies who are mixed fed are also more likely to develop gastrointestinal infections. And for the premature baby, not being breastfed is associated with an increased risk of necrotizing enterocolitis, and this is neck or a very serious gut infection. And then studies also suggest that not breastfeeding increases the risk of SIDS in a baby. So there are many more examples of the importance of breastfeeding for the baby and the mother and the family and the community listed in the class notes that you will receive with a private one-on-one consultation. Okay, so what can I tell you about colostrum? So women start producing colostrum about the middle of pregnancy, and which means it is already available before the baby is born. And colostrum is the baby's first milk. It is thick and yellowish or clear in color. And the amount of colostrum in the first few feeds is very small. It's approximately 1 or 2 teaspoons full. That's between 2 and 10 mils per feed. So these small volumes is perfect for that baby's tiny tummy, which we think is about the size of a marble. So that tiny tummy cannot hold much milk. Now, this cherry and walnut and apricot and egg, it kind of represents the average baby's tummy size as the baby grows. The point being that you don't need to worry that the small amount of colostrum in the early days may not be enough for the baby. And also, a baby is still learning to coordinate their sucking, swallowing, and breathing, so this small amount makes it less likely that the baby will choke. Now, baby's first feed of colostrum is also like baby's first immunization. So, colostrum has more antibodies and other anti-infective proteins than mature milk. And in the early days, the baby has a greater need for immune protection than larger volumes of milk. Now, colostrum literally paints the baby's gut lining and prevents organisms or germs from entering the baby's system. So ideally, baby shouldn't be getting any food before baby starts breastfeeding, and also not after the baby has started receiving colostrum. So don't give baby any artificial feeds because it can wash away this protective lining and increases the risk of allergies and infection in the baby. Now, colostrum is also very rich in vitamin A, adding to the colostrum's golden color, and this is important for protection against infections and other um, early development of the baby's eyes as well. And colostrum also has a laxative effect, which promotes the passing or clearing of meconium, and this is that black tarry substance which accumulates in the baby's gut during pregnancy. And because it has a laxative effect, it also helps to clear bilirubin from the baby's gut and reduces the risk of baby becoming jaundiced. And we'll talk about jaundice and bilirubin levels in a later recording. So we've looked at the risks of not breastfeeding for the baby. What do you think are some of the risks involved in not breastfeeding for the mother? So just to mention a few, there are many more. So never breastfeeding is associated with an increased risk of breast and ovarian cancer compared to women who ever breastfed. Um, Several authors have also found there's an increased risk of diabetes among women who have never breastfed compared to those who breastfed for a prolonged period. And never having breastfed is also linked with a risk of heart diseases compared to breastfeeding for 2 years or more. And then data also suggests that women who do not breastfeed face a higher risk of obesity. Now, early and immediate breastfeeding reduces blood loss after birth and it helps expel the placenta. And then in the long run, breastfeeding saves time and money. It makes night feeding easier. So it is easy to feed a baby in a bed and the mother can get more rest. And just FYI, research shows that formula fed babies' parents don't get more sleep. Breastfeeding also delays the return of fertility, meaning it delays a potential new pregnancy, giving you more energy to take care of the current child. And breast milk is available 24 hours a day. It also needs no preparation. And breastfeeding makes a mother more calmer and relaxed due to the hormones of breastfeeding. breast milk production consumes calories. So the calorie cost to make 1 liter of breast milk is about 940 calories. That's a lot. Now, women who breastfeed also experience a quicker return to their pre-pregnant figure, or rather new normal. And then breastfeeding also ensures a close relationship or close physical contact with the baby. And this helps the mother to form a close, loving relationship with her baby. So human milk, with a few exceptions, up to 6 months of life, contains all the nutrients and water that a baby needs to achieve optimal growth, development, and health. Now, in some areas, vitamin D supplementation might be needed. So human milk has evolved to specifically nourish human babies, and it contains water and fat and carbohydrates. And the main carbohydrate of human milk is lactose. Human milk also contains proteins and minerals and vitamins and important non-nutritional components such as antimicrobial factors and microorganisms and digestive enzymes and hormones and growth factors, and they are all important for passive protections against infections and diseases, and they all work together to provide the human baby with all the tools necessary to grow and develop. Now, someone once said that human milk is 5 million years of product development. Still, many of the components in human milk have only recently been discovered, and the function of many more remain unknown. Now, this human milk infographic was designed by Hilda Allen while she was literally feeding her 1-year-old, and it represents the known components of human milk. And many of the components named divide into hundreds more. To check it out, www.human-milk.com. Thank you for watching this recording. I hope you can see from today's information that from a nutritional, immunological, digestive, neurological, developmental, mental, psychological, and emotional standpoint, there is no replacement for breastfeeding and human milk. So in the next recording, we will be looking at how breastfeeding works. So please visit the Breastfeeding Clinic's website, www.breastfeedingsa.co.za. So if you would like to book a private lactation consultation or receive the breastfeeding class notes, and you can also navigate the class recordings easier from the website. And please feel free to subscribe to this channel for more breastfeeding class recordings. And take care till next time.